Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking a bit about how AI automation has been evolving in business and how we can stay ahead of the curve and use that to our advantage using tools like Microsoft's Power Automate and Copilot Studio. Okay, I'd like to kick things off here with just a quote that's been very, very popular in the tech industry. And I think everybody's sort of heard of this at some point, but AI won't replace you, but someone using AI will. There's been a massive trend towards this agentic AI. So this is based on a Gartner study that was done. But the number one trend of 2025 and the number one trend of 2026 is expected to be agentic AI. So autonomous AI that can plan, take action, achieve goals, go and complete tasks for you without human intervention. So there are AI agents that do require a little bit of human intervention, but there are some that don't at all, which is a massive return on investment for these businesses that are going and implementing these things. There's an estimated 77% of companies that are currently exploring or using AI automation. That's also from the Gartner study. Personal experience, I think most of them are still in the exploratory phase. I think there's a lot of companies that still need to implement custom AI agents at this point. And this opportunity is so massive that they're expecting a $1.1 trillion AI market projection by 2031. For an industry that didn't necessarily exist a few years back, this is staggering. There's a huge bet by these corporations that are actually building these AI tools that they're going to be implemented in your day-to-day workflows and your businesses. So it's very, very important to understand how they work. So moving into our next slide here, I just want to talk quickly about the evolution. So how we've got where we're at, where we're headed. So AI isn't just about prompts anymore. Just a bit of a personal story. I've got a friend who works in an engineering firm. Of course, I ask him if he's implemented AI or if they've implemented AI in their business. He says, yes, they have. And then I kind of dial in and ask, what workflows are those replacing and what does it do? Because I'm a nerd and I love that sort of thing. His response was, well, they've got it on their desktop. They can open up Copilot. They can have it rewrite emails. So very much what we've been doing with ChatGPT for the past couple years. So nothing really autonomous there or task-based there. So that's still in the prompt AI phase, which is the initial phase that we entered. But AI is evolving fast. So from reactive tools to proactive agents that can make decisions, adapt to context, and drive real business outcomes without constant human input. That's very, very important. So as we move along our chain here, you'll see there's task-based agents. These are agents that are manually triggered. So let's say that you have a button or something that you would select, whether it's in your CRM or in your finance system, and that would go and generate templates or reach out and create an email to this customer. So a little bit of manual intervention that's needed there. And then thirdly, where everything's headed is this autonomous agent. So this is something that's taking action in the background. You don't need to trigger it at all. It happens automatically. So the example we'll walk through today is an email coming into my inbox. This AI agent would go read the email, understand it, write up a draft so that I can view the email when it's complete and then decide whether to send it off or not. And so how do we build these systems? Well, there's a couple of tools that are worth understanding. In my opinion, the rise of low-code, no-code tools is where it's at. So there's a couple that stand out. There's Copilot, Power Automate. Those are both in the Microsoft environment. And very important to note, that's what we'll be using today and probably in future videos. There's also systems like make.com, terrific for automating workflows and bringing in AI agents. And then, of course, a very popular one right now is N8N, where you can plug in your virtual agent, give it a whole host of agents to call, and build these multi-agentic systems that are becoming more and more popular. Some of the stats that were pulled from this, 90% faster development time using these low-code, no-code tools. Just about anybody is able to go and make these tools so that we can start automating things in your day-to-day. Very important to understand. And, frankly, it's fairly easy to learn. Another stat here is 70% of all new business applications will be built using low-code or no-code platforms by 2025. This is really cool, and I can attest to this. The majority of workflows and automations that I've worked in the past couple of years have all been through Power Automate. It's just becoming a strong platform. You don't need your custom code as much anymore. It's all becoming this low code, no code tool, which is amazing because it allows more and more people to step into the automation space. And so I want to talk a little bit more about Microsoft and their offerings. So both Copilot Studio, which is fairly new, and Power Automate, which has been around for a couple years, both offer the opportunities to dial into this kind of AI sector. So Microsoft's they've made a bet, frankly, and I expect it to pay off. They've put $80 billion in 2025 alone into AI-enabled data centers to kind of provide that robust infrastructure that they need to support these tools that we'll be reviewing. Another crazy stat is that 90% of Fortune 500 companies have built AI agents using Copilot Studio and the Power Platform in 2025. That is a staggering amount. My assumption is that Microsoft's kind of the go-to for these enterprise level solutions. So the logical step is to incorporate their automation tools, such as Copilot Studio and Power Automate. So very important, and there's a ton of value in learning those systems now because more and more corporations and businesses are going to be implementing these systems. And then finally, another crazy stat that I was able to find from a Forrester study is there's a greater than 112% return on investment for these implementations, which is crazy. And that's on the low end of the stat. It says 112 to 457% return on investment and millions in net present value over 3 years from Copilot adoption. So tons of value here for businesses in implementing these systems, specifically with Copilot Studio and Power Automate. So now I want to just jump into a bit of a Copilot walkthrough. This will just be a simple email assistant. So these agents will kind of get more and more involved as we go. Just wanted to kind of show everybody just a pretty basic example of what these agents are capable of when they kind of reach that autonomous stage. So you'll see here a list of different agents that I've just been kind of playing around with. The one I want to show you in particular today is the email assistant. So clicking into my email assistant here, of course, you can go and create a new one, and you should see the same page here. There's a section on the right to go and do any sort of testing that you want. We don't need that right now because this triggers from Outlook. So here we have our agent name, description, what response model we're using. So we're using our 4.0 here. Some analytics on runtime, and then a very important section here is our instructions. So I've written out the instructions for the AI agent, and that is you're an email assistant. You read new emails in the inbox and reply to them by drafting an email using the tool Draft an Email Message. So that's a tool I've provided. If there are any questions around our products, please pull the information from your product's knowledge source, and you are allowed to respond to questions regarding quantity, product names, or price. So just some basic instructions on how to handle certain scenarios for the agent there. So here is where it gets a little bit interesting. I've connected a knowledge source. So in this case, I've selected our product table from the Dataverse. If you're not familiar with the Dataverse, that's where CRM and Power Apps and Business Central all are built on top of. They all have a table, or all the entities have a table within the Dataverse. So that's all accessible by the agent here. But I've only given it access to the products in this case. Tools. So I've given it access to the Draft an Email Message tool out of Outlook. Adding a tool is very simple. You go in, select add a tool. It's going to pull out a bunch of pre-created tools for you to look at. So if it's Dataverse, we can go and add a row or do anything like that. But in this case, we want to draft an email. And then, of course, what makes it autonomous? Well, it's triggered automatically by emails hitting my inbox. So I've added in the trigger here for when a new email arrives. This agent is going to jump into action and go and complete its tasks. So let's take a look at how this actually works. So I've gone and emailed myself. Here's what the email reads. Of course, spelled product wrong on the subject line, but let's not pay attention to that. So hi there, what's your cheapest product? What's the price? Do you have a lot in stock? If you're doing well, thanks. So what I'm expecting is that the email agent's going to go and draft up a reply for me. So I don't have to go and look up that information on my own. And then you'll see in my drafts here, I have a drafted reply. So it's, hi there, thank you for reaching out. Our cheapest product is the really awesome product, priced at $50. We currently have 25 units in stock. Hope you are doing well. Thanks. So, of course, we can tweak the prompt however we want it to respond. However, I think this is terrific. It's popped in the sender there, so I can just go and select send, and it will give them their product information that they requested. And just so you're all aware, this is that product that I pulled. I actually just have this one really awesome product, but it is priced at $50 and its quantity is 25. So we can validate there that it is pulling the correct information when asked, which is terrific. So these agents are super simple to set up. Going forward, we're going to walk through some more advanced automation examples. This one is, very basic and just a quick introduction into what we can do. If you're at all curious about joining the community and learning more about these automations and how AI adoption is possible in an organization, please feel free to subscribe to this channel, or you can join the free school community that I've set up. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. Hopefully it was helpful, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.